So shall we start?
Yes, Prabhuji, when you are ready, we can start.
Okay, I am ready. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnana Jana Salakaya Sakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavancha Shri Rupam Sagra Jadam Sagagana Raghunadan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitam Cha हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधो जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Help you. I am very happy to welcome all the devotees for today's Bhagavad-gītā class. Today we are going to see the overview of fifth chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. Fifth chapter of Bhagavad-gītā is titled as Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness. So yesterday in the fourth chapter, we have seen the transcendental knowledge. We have seen what is transcendental knowledge, how to acquire the transcendental knowledge, what should be what are the qualifications to receive the transcendental knowledge. Transcendental knowledge means knowledge about God, knowledge about Krishna, that is transcendental knowledge. And to receive this knowledge, we have to receive the knowledge from one of the four bona fide sampradaya. And ISKCON comes under Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya Sampradaya. That we have seen. And then we have seen the different misconceptions, two important misconceptions, because nowadays a lot of people criticize the caste system because the today's caste system is totally degraded and changed without any spiritual goal. But what Krishna has established, Chaturvarnyam, that Daiva Varnashrama is actually the best for society. And today what we have is not, no way it is connected with the Daiva Varnashrama system and the Supreme Lord established. So therefore people are unhappy with this degraded caste system. So that misconception we have discussed, and also every path leads to the same goal, that also we have discussed. Then Krishna explained about the how Arjuna can act without incurring any reaction or without creating any reactions. So in that we have seen the karma, that is actions uh, prescribed or karma prescribed in the scripture or in the Shastra. So executing one's prescribed duties is karma. And actions that are prohibited because we have do's and don'ts. So the Shastra also tells these things are should not be done, or if doing such and such things are sinful. So sometimes people, though the Shastra prohibits and then indulge in such activities or actions, they are considered as sinful activities. They are vikarmas. So both karma and vikarma will uh, have reactions. Karma will bring good reactions and vikarma will bring bad reactions. And it will also create further repeated births to enjoy the sufferings or happiness. So therefore, both are not conducive for somebody wants to attain, get somebody wants to get rid of the material world. So Krishna advised Arjuna, you have to act at the same time, the offer the results to the Supreme Lord, or you should act for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So that is called akarma. So akarma is action in Krishna consciousness. And then we have seen the uh, one Krishna explains in the 4th chapter. There are various sacrifices, different types of sacrifices. Dana yagya, swadhyaya yagya, dana yagya. Like that, there are many sacrifices. Krishna explains there. So all these sacrifices are meant to uh, it will mature into transcendental knowledge. So the transcendental knowledge is very important, because only with that transcendental knowledge we can win over the uh, material covering, that is the in the form of lust. So therefore, if you see the 4th chapter, the 4th chapter concluded um, with the sloka Tasmat Ajnana Sambhutam Kritstam Jnanatmanaha Jnana Sinatmanaha. Therefore, the doubts which have arisen in your heart out of ignorance should be slashed by the weapon of knowledge. Armed with yoga, O Bharata, stand and fight. So this is the concluding sloka of the 4th chapter. Now, after hearing this, Arjuna, he got a doubt. So the connection between the 4th chapter and the 5th chapter is in the, if you see, if we look at the last 4 chapters, in the 1st chapter, Krishna has given a preliminary knowledge of the soul, the Atma, which is totally spiritual. The Atma has nothing to do with the material world, but still it is entangled in the material body. And how to get out of this material entanglement by Buddhi Yoga, that is devotional service, that was explained somewhat briefly in the 1st chapter. In the 3rd chapter, that was explained in the 2nd chapter. Because 1st chapter, Krishna has not started any instruction. The 2nd chapter, Krishna has explained, we are all Atma, spirit, soul, and we are nothing to do with the material world, but still we are somehow got entangled in the material world, and he has given to act in Buddhi Yoga or devotional service so that we can get out of this material existence. In the third chapter, it was explained that a person who is situated on the platform of knowledge, he has no duty, no longer has any duty to perform. That is explained in 3.17, 17th sloka in third chapter. So in the last chapter, which we have just reviewed, the Lord told Arjuna that all kinds of sacrifices, because towards the fourth part of the last chapter, Krishna explains many different types of sacrifices. So, but finally he says all different sacrifices and the culmination of all different sacrifices is transcendental knowledge. So, but at the end of fourth chapter, just we have seen the last sloka of fourth chapter, the Krishna advised Arjuna to stand up and fight. So he tells Arjuna that you have to, this ignorance, the ignorance has to be the ignorance that have arisen in your heart out of doubts, the doubts that have arisen in your heart out of due to ignorance should be slashed by weapon of knowledge. So armed with yoga, you stand and fight, stand up and fight. So these two instructions, because in the earlier he was glorifying jnana, and again he is asking him to fight. Therefore, simultaneously Krishna is stressing the importance of both action, work in devotion or devotional service, and also jnana, that is inaction in knowledge. So because of these instructions, Arjuna is perplexed and is confused. So now Arjuna understands that because inaction or renunciation in knowledge involves cessation of or stoppage of all kinds of activities or sense activities. And Arjuna also thinks sannyasa, that is renunciation in knowledge. So renunciation in knowledge should be altogether free from any kind of senseful activity. And he thought work, that is action or karma or devotion service, and renunciation, sannyasa, to Arjuna, they are two different things. Both are incompatible. So this is his understanding at this point of time. So therefore, he appears to have not understood that work in full knowledge is also non-reactive. Karma performed with full knowledge of the Supreme Lord and dovetailing the action towards Krishna is also non-reactive. It is also akarma. It is not karma. So therefore, it is same as inaction. So all this, because of this lekona, this not understanding this point, Arjuna is confused. Actually, the acharyas say it is Krishna's plan that Arjuna should remain confused because their dialogue is actually taking place not for Arjuna's benefit, it is taking place for the benefit of all of us. So therefore, the Arjuna's this perplexity, it gives Krishna a chance to explain further that karma, that is karma dovetail with Krishna, or karma in work in Krishna consciousness, and sannyasa or renunciation are not opposed to each other. They are connected to each other. One must learn to work in a renounced spirit. And this is the point. Actually, uh, another devotee has explained this, because this chapter is very important chapter, and the points discussed are little more complex. It is not easy to comprehend the various themes that are discussed in the 5th chapter. Uh, Krishna speaks the Bhagavad-gītā to remove the confusion of Arjuna about the what, because he is every time asking what is best for me, action or renunciation. So this question was he asked the same question in the beginning of the 3rd chapter, and now in the beginning of the 5th chapter, the same question is asking for the second time. So here action with renunciation, because there are two extremes. One is action. Arjuna is thinking action is one end, and renunciation is the another end. But actually, this is his bipolar presumption. That is what obstructing his acceptance of action in renunciation. What Krishna wants is both. You have to act in a renounced mood. So renunciation does not mean inaction, and action does not mean not renouncing. So you have to act in renunciation. So this is the connection. So the connection between 3rd chapter and the 5th chapter is Arjuna is confused whether Krishna wants him to perform action in devotion or renunciation of work. So this is the confusion. So therefore, in the 5th chapter, Arjuna he starts this first sloka itself. Oh Krishna, first of all, you ask me to renounce work, and then again you recommend work with devotion. So you are asking me to work with devotion. So now will you kindly tell me definitely which one of the two is more beneficial for me? So this is the question. So now to this question, actually in the 5th chapter, if we closely study all the slokas, the 5th chapter deals with 5 themes. In the first, Arjuna is asking this doubt whether action or renunciation. This is his doubt. So now Krishna, starting from 2nd sloka to 6th sloka, Krishna discusses about Nishkama Karma Yoga. So that means Krishna is advising Arjuna to practice Nishkama Karma Yoga. That is Karma Yoga, action without expecting any result, or without attached to the results or fruits. So Nishkama, Kama means desire, Nishkama means without desire. So without desire to enjoy the fruits, you perform your work. So that means offer or dovetail the results to the Supreme Lord. So that is easier than renunciation of work. So there are two paths, but Krishna is recommending the easier path to Arjuna. Then such knowledge, it leads to the understanding of the Paramatma, or the Supreme Soul. So how to perform the Nishkama Karma Yoga? Krishna recommends Nishkama Karma Yoga in 1 to 6, that 5 slokas. And from 7th sloka to 12th sloka, he describes how a devotee can perform Nishkama Karma Yoga. So by this, one comes to knowledge, because any performance of sacrifice or these kind of actions, it gives the platform of knowledge. And here the platform of knowledge is because he's Krishna, Arjuna's doubt is the actions and its reactions. So in this chapter, one very important theme is also being discussed, because who is the doer? So, and knowing the three doers, any action, it involves three doers, not one doer. Doer means the karta. There are three kartas who are involved in any actions. That is described in 3rd to 16th sloka. And from 17th to 26th sloka, uh, how one can achieve liberation by focusing on the Paramatma or Super Soul. And in the 5th section of this chapter, so 27th to 30, 28, 27 and 28, these two slokas, and how one can achieve liberation uh, through Ashtanga Yoga. Actually, he is only talking very briefly about Ashtanga Yoga in these two slokas. And finally concludes with the peace formula, that is peace on the platform of liberation. So these are the 6 sections deals in this particular 5th chapter. These 6 themes are dealt with. Okay, now we will see in some little detail each one of these. So the Nishkama Karma Yoga, that is what Krishna recommends to Arjuna. Nishkama Karma Yoga. Action without expecting the results. So this so in fact Krishna explains the both work, that is renunciation of work and work in devotion, both are good for liberation, because Arjuna is interested in liberation or freedom from reaction, so that one can get liberation. So as long as our actions produce reactions, we continue to be bound to the material world. So only when we are able to perform actions without reaction, that means only when we get into devotional service or action in work in devotion, and then there will be no reaction. So that will be the end of our existence in the material world. So therefore, Krishna says both action in devotion and renunciation of work, both are good for liberation. But of the two, work in devotion, that is uh, work in devotional service, is better than renunciation of work. So therefore, that is what is recommended for the for Arjuna by the Supreme Lord. So a lot of intricate details are there. So when we study later on each sloka, each chapter, then we can get into those uh, finer aspects. So the even Krishna tells only the ignorant speak of devotional service as being different from the analytical study of the material world. So here analytical study that normally it is called Sankhya. Here this word Sankhya refers to knowledge, jnana. So those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths, either work in devotion or renunciation of work or the Sankhya path, uh, achieve the result of both. So this is the this what Krishna explains to Arjuna. So in the recommendation of the Supreme Lord for Krishna is work in devotion. That is the conclusion of the first part. Because he says merely renouncing all activities yet not engaging in the devotion service, simply renouncing and but not engaging in the devotion service. Keep on studying developing jnana, understanding Brahman, and then without developing attachment or love for God, such jnana is of no use. So merely renouncing sannyasa but not engaging in devotion service is cannot make one happy. So the happiness can come only from devotional service. That is what Krishna tells. And our acharyas also say the same thing. So one can experience this. So, but thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay, because if the goal is to achieve the supreme, uh, the person who is engaged in devotional service to Krishna, he can achieve the supreme Lord without a delay. So this is what Krishna tells here. Now, from 7 to 12, that these slokas here, one who works in devotion, who is pure soul, who controls his mind and senses, is dear to everyone, and everyone is dear to him. Though always working with working, uh, such a man is never entangled. So here again, Krishna tells that one who is executing his work or devotional in devotion, work in devotion, he will not be entangled. So this because Arjuna is afraid of entanglement. So here he clearly says there will be no entanglement if you perform devotional service, or if you perform your work in devotion to the Supreme Lord. Therefore, such does the work of such a detached person, because he is performing all his activities dovetailing with Krishna. So, does the work of such a detached person result in any sinful reactions? So here Krishna tells one who performs his duty without attachment. That is, this is what we are talking. The first part is work without expecting results or detachment. Nishkama karma yoga. So surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord. So one who performs his duty without detachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful reaction. This example is given here. And this is what the picture shows. Krishna gives the analogy as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. So the lotus leaf will be just floating on the surface of the water, and we will find some drops on the leaf. But these water drops, it will not wet the surface. So the lotus is unattached, so he is not connected to the water drops. So this is what Krishna says, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water, uh, one who performs his duty without attachment and surrendering the results to unto the Supreme Lord, because he does not have the ownership mentality of ownership. I have done, I am the doer, I must enjoy. That he has given up. So one who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful reaction. As example is, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water. So therefore, be like a lotus leaf. This is the first part of the fifth chapter. So here it involves three steps. That is Nishkama Karma Yoga involves three steps. We have to perform our action, that is duty. At the same time, we should have the consciousness of detachment. Be detached from the results, and be control the senses. So these three steps to be like a lotus leaf. That here for the duty, some additional explanations are given. So here we say, perform your duty, do the duty. So what are the duties we are to perform as a Atma? We have the our constitutional duty. We for simply for understanding purpose, we say it is ABCD. So those who are serious about spiritual progress, they have to perform these four activities, A, B, C, D. That these four together constitute the duty, the spiritual duty, or Sanatana Dharma. So first, A stands for association of devotees. So we should have satsang with the devotees, and B for reading or hearing Bhagavad-gītā. So one can read Bhagavad-gītā written by Srila Prabhupada with or chanting, C for chanting. So by chanting, actually we are chanting is the real establishing real connection with Krishna. Through Bhagavad-gītā, we gain knowledge about Krishna. Reading Bhagavad-gītā is called Jnana Yagya. And association with the devotees give us strength to perform the devotional service. It gives us encouragement to pursue this path, to be serious in our Krishna consciousness. We get some kind of enthusiasm from associating with the devotees. Then chanting it, because it is a devotional service, most important activity in devotional service is chanting, Shravanam, Kirtanam. So it involves chanting and hearing. So then when we chant, then it removes our sufferings, kleshas. Klesha Agni means and our suffering will be burnt when some dry leaves are burned by fire. Same way, whatever klesha, all the klesha or suffering we face in our life is due to our past bad karmas. So those things will be burnt up by this process of chanting, because it acts as a klesha agni. And not only it removes or burns up our reactions of the bad karma, and also it brings shubha. Shubhuda means it brings auspiciousness. So Krishna consciousness or chanting or devotional service brings immediate auspiciousness to those who chant Hare Krishna mantra. And then we should also follow the diet. Diet means we should accept food that has been offered to the Supreme Lord. So whatever that is offered, the Naivedya. So whatever we cook, we should cook for the Supreme pleasure of the Supreme Lord. Offer to the Supreme Lord, chanting Hare Krishna mantra, or there are some prayers. So offer the food, whatever we cook, first to the Supreme Lord. Have a separate plate, utensils, and that put this and put some few tulasi leaves, and then offer to the Supreme Lord. And then we can mix it with the cooked items, and we can distribute to the family members. So this way, of course, we are talking only about the constitutional duty. So if we perform this constitutional duty every day to our best of our ability, then we will be able to perform the other conditional duty also in a proper mode, proper way, and Krishna will help us in executing our material duties also properly. So therefore, here to do the duty, don't attach, because normally in the material duty only it brings lot of material results, and we should not be attached to the results. and we should also control the senses. So these things, controlling the senses, all these are possible only if we follow this ABCD, that is association with sadhus or devotees, Bhagavad-gītā reading, hearing, uh, reading and hearing. It must be done in a very serious way, and then chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So people, devotees chant this Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So if we chant, repeat this mantra 108 times, that is, we say it is one mala or one round. So like that, one can chant minimum 16 rounds. It will take about 2 hours. So depending on one's engagement, he can allot 1 hour or 2 hours time and chant either morning, evening. So that is recommended. And then follow the vegetarian diet, cook vegetarian food and offer to Krishna, and then the family members can share the prasadam. Okay. So here the spiritual life will drive away sinful life, because by chanting, following regulatory principles, eating only prasadam, so this gives a very we will become strong by practicing this spiritual culture or spiritual practices. So this will drive away the sinful life from us automatically, as both are incompatible. So where spiritual life enters, sinful life will go away. Okay. So therefore, we have to be detached from the results. So offer the results to the Supreme Lord. So when we offer the prasadam and whatever, anything where we buy new things, first offer to Krishna. That is the it is a way of expressing our detachment from the results. So one who sees everything in life as profit and loss cannot have peace. So if we, whatever we do, everything, our action, every activity, if we think only in terms of gain and profit loss, then we will not be peaceful. So control the senses. Actually, uh, the in our young age, these pictures just show when we are young, we are involved in so many activities to earn wealth, money, and in that process, we get old. And when in the old age, mostly people get money after maybe if they are working in some job, they will get all their PF and the gratuity. All this comes at the young age. Maybe whatever they have invested in LIC, this, that. But when they get all the money, then life comes to an end, or they are very old. They do not have the energy to enjoy. So we should regulate the senses. Hmm. So then the why the uh, four regulatory principles. So the four regulatory principles for making a progress in spiritual life, we have to follow these four regulatory principles. That is, no meat eating, uh, no illicit sex, no gambling, uh, no intoxication. So these four things we are supposed to avoid, uh, because this is prescribed by the Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, and in the ISKCON movement. Um, every devotee is advised to give up these four sinful activities. So these four sinful activities, why we should give up? Because the Sanatana Dharma, or the spiritual life, it stands on four pillars. So what are the four pillars? The four pillars are the quality of mercy, quality of truthfulness, and the quality of austerity, and cleanliness. So these are the four things, um, the fundamental pillars, four pillars on which the spiritual dharma, Sanatana Dharma, is resting. So each one of these four sinful activities will destroy one of these qualities. Meat eating, it will destroy the quality of mercy. So if we eat meat that involves killing of animal, so therefore we will lose the quality of the mercy. And similarly, uh, gambling, if somebody is involved in making quick money gambling, they will not have the quality of truthfulness. And somebody who drinks wine, arak, and this kind of intoxicants, they will not have the austerity, uh, tapasya. They will not have the strength to perform tapasya. And those who are involved in illicit sex, they cannot have cleanliness of heart. So therefore, these four regulatory principles are prescribed so that we will have these four divine qualities. So only when we have these four divine qualities, then we will be able to be successful in spiritual life. So therefore, the mercy, truthfulness, austerity, cleanliness, these are very, very important qualities, most important qualities for success in spiritual life. And if these four qualities are present in whole society, that whole society will be peaceful and happy, and they will progress in spiritual goal. If the life lesson is, if lesser the sin, lesser we suffer. So, so when the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of nine gates. Actually, here in the second part of this chapter, there are some important theme discussed. Who is the doer? We are always discussing about action, karma, reaction. So, who is the doer? Actually, as per Bhagavad-gītā, there are three doers. One doer is actually the self. We are all the doers. Atma is the one doer. And we have seen Atma is when we are in the material world, we are controlled by the three gunas. So the gunas forces us to uh, act in different ways. So that's what Krishna told in the fourth chapter also. Kama is Krodha is Rajoguna. Kama only forces him one to do sinful activity. So like that, the three gunas, and the Kama is in association with the Rajoguna. Kama is Krodha is Rajoguna Samudbhava. It is connection with the Rajoguna. So like that, the guna is at the uh, back everywhere. It is driving the person to act. One who is in Sattva guna, he will do good karma, like that. So what we want to say is, what the point I want to convey is, there are three doers. One is the individual Atma, then the gunas, and then the individual may desire something, but unless it is sanctioned by the Paramatma, it cannot happen. So therefore, since Krishna as Paramatma is sanctioning the desire of the Atma, so he is also one of the doer. So the first doer is the we all of us individually, we are the doers. Second is the gunas, and third is the Paramatma, Krishna. So there are three doers are involved in any action. So without the sanction of the Paramatma, no action can take place. But still, when it comes to reaction, so the enjoying the punya karma or suffering for the bad karma. So finally, if you see, it is the Jivatma, he is held responsible for the action. So this is a very important point. Why the Jivatma is held responsible, not the gunas and not the Paramatma. So this is the important topic, and if it has to be, if we start discussing this, um, that itself becomes a big topic. So, but Krishna, in some few slokas, he discusses this point, and the conclusion is the doer is number one doer is Atma, because the desire starts from him, therefore he is responsible. And three gunas, they are not spiritual persons. The three gunas is simply matter, and they have no initiative, and they cannot start desire. Therefore, uh, it, three gunas cannot be held responsible for this. And Paramatma, he just helps the Jivatma to fulfill his desire. So therefore, he is also not responsible. And of course, it has to be discussed in more detail, but I will just give one simple example, which was discussed by some senior devotees. Uh, the example given is, say, a small child. So in this picture, we see a small child. His father is doing weightlifting. This small child watching this, after some time, he also wants to do the weightlifting. He goes, lifts, tries to lift the bar, because the bar is so heavy, he cannot lift the bar. His father, he is seeing this effort of his small child. He goes and stands behind him. He lifts, and the boy feels that I have lifted. So he feels that I have done it. I am the doer, and he feels happy. Actually, he has not lifted. So that this analogy, this example shows, we as Atma, we do not have enough potency to do any action. It is only when Krishna sanctions and empowers us, we will be able to do anything. Um, and because the desire has arisen from us, and we are responsible for our actions. So we have to purify our desires. So that is the most important point. So this, under this doership, though there are three doers involved in any action, since the desire starts from the like in this case, the small child, if the small child, if he does not desire to lift, there was no need for his father to lift the weight. So therefore, we desire, and Krishna helps us. So then we are the person responsible. So whatever good and bad results we see in our life, or encounter in our life, we should be thoroughly sure that we are responsible for that. So only by modifying our desires, we can come out of this cycle, continuous cycle. So that's what we are seeing. So when the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of nine gates. So this is another important sloka in this. Who is responsible for the doership, that we have seen briefly, and in this sloka, uh, what is the role of the Jivatma is explained. The role of the Jivatma, that means all of us. What is our role in the doership? When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily. So therefore, when two things are mentioned here. Embodied living being means we are all Atma, but at present we are embodied. We each one of us are put in a material body. Uh, when the embodied living being controls his nature, so controls his nature means we are, the three natures are there. Sattva guna, Raja guna, Tamo guna. Controlling our nature means trying to be always in Sattva guna. And Sattva guna means will be, our desires will be pure, and we will not be uh, interested in enjoying the fruits of our action. So we will be able to mentally renounce all actions. So only when we are able to control our nature and keep ourselves in sattva guna and perform action in devotion, then we can live happily in the city of nine gates. So the city of nine gates is nothing but our material body. So we are presently living in the city of nine gates, and some people may be residing happily, some people may be suffering. So the secret to live happily in this body is this. So we should be controlling our nature. That is, we should always keep ourselves in sattva guna by following this ABCD and perform actions for the pleasure of Krishna. So in this case, whatever action we do, neither working nor causing work to be done. That is what Krishna tells. So he is doing, but it is all whatever we perform in this condition, in this situation, with a person being situated in sattva guna and also not expecting performing action with desire to enjoy the fruits. So mentally renouncing the fruits. Then in this is the platform. It will not bring any reactions. So this neither working. So he is working, but he is not working, and nor causing work to be done. So this is the uh, important platform for reaching this condition. So this is little more elaborated. The city of nine gates, everyone knows. Purpose of the city is to facilitate enjoyment. uh, but why do we keep changing? We are constantly chasing. The previous slide also we have seen, we are trying to amass wealth or earn more wealth. But the what we want to enjoy, material happiness or enjoyment, like sometimes when a horse or the donkey, in front of the donkey, the owner of the donkey put some grass. So he will keep on trying to, but it will be moving ahead all the time, as we see in this picture. So the happiness all continuously eludes us. We never be able to catch it. uh, So, moreover, the city itself is temporary. He will run, and then at some stage, he will become old and die, and he will never be able to catch it. So, that's what simply shown here. He is going to fall into the ditch, and he will be never be able to achieve this. So, this is the condition in material world. So, the our desire to enjoy the material world is like this. So what do we get in the whole process? The whole process, we put lot of effort. So put ourselves into suffering to achieve. And even if you achieve, that happiness is short-lived. This is the point. And how do we acquire this body? Based on our desire. So whole life we live and cultivate some desires. At the end of the life, we have some unfulfilled desires, and also whole life we have performed many karma. So the karmas what we have done in over the whole, maybe if we live 100 years, over the 100 years, we have, each one of us would have performed so many karmas. So that uh, based on our karma we deserve something, and based on our desires we desire something. So these two has to be matched. So based on our desire and based on what we are actually eligible for, that is deserving. And so what we are eligible for and what we desire, according to that, based on these two considerations, the material nature, Krishna has made some arrangement. Accordingly we will get our next body. So, what is its nature? So, the material body grows and runs without our control. It is not. So, the soul, Jivatma, it desires happiness. uh, uh, and as we do perform actions, then we get reaction in the form of sin or pious reactions as we desire. So then we get into illusion that I am the city. Actually, we are not the body. Uh, so therefore, this inequality is a result of one's own choice. So we make different choices. That is why we find inequality in the society. So therefore, whereas the laws of nature are very stringent, there is no forgiveness. So therefore, whatever we action, good, bad, certainly it will bring the reaction. We will have to undergo the reactions. So then we have the third part of this chapter, that is about the platform of knowledge, knowing the three doers that we have seen, liberation by focusing on the Paramatma. Paramatma, we have discussed yesterday also. Uh, Paramatma is accompanying us. Krishna is present with all of us as a Paramatma. Paramatma is expansion and expansion of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So in the material world, we have three Vishnus. So the material universe is created by Mahavishnu, and Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is entered into each universe, and Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu is entered into every Jivatma. So this Jivatma, along with Jivatma, Kshirodaka Sai Vishnu is present, and he is addressed as Paramatma. So he only supplies all ingredients of the city. And the material body is made of Panchapuda, the 24 elements. So all the 24 elements are supplied by this Paramatma. And therefore, source of the spirit soul. So whatever we as a spirit soul, um, he is the source, and whatever we desire and the sanctioning authority is the Paramatma. So the super soul, Paramatma, he only sanctions. So that's why there is a famous saying, man proposes and God disposes. It is based on our karma and desire. So we may desire so many things, unless it is sanctioned by the Supreme Lord, it cannot happen. Because Krishna also looks at our eligibility and desire. So if somebody is eligible and his desire is matching, then he will sanction. He desires something for which he is not eligible, then he will not sanction. So man proposes, God disposes. So Lord is blameless. So he acts only as a facilitator, because he is simply a witness and facilitates what is just due for us. So in this situation, those who are advanced in this Krishna consciousness, if somebody has developed this kind of vision, he will become a seer of everything. You will see with equal vision. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Suni Chaiva Sopakecha Pandita Samadarshina. So humble sage, uh, with by virtue of true knowledge, because he has got a true knowledge. Because true knowledge means when he see the elephant or the cow or dog eater, he does not see the external covering, the external body. So he see the Atma within. So therefore he sees with equal vision a learned Brahmana, a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, or dog eater. So though they are covered by different bodies, inside the Atma is the same. So this kind of equal vision is possible for the humble sage. So what of the impartiality of those who transcend the material world in this way? So by developing this kind of spiritual knowledge, one is able to transcend the material world. So when a person who has transcended the material world will have or will gain this kind of equal vision. So equal vision, what is the effect of this equal vision? Equal vision and implications. So equal vision, a person in this platform, he can see very clearly the three doers. So what we have just briefly described. So he will be able to see the three doers, that Atma, the three gunas, and the super soul or Paramatma. And he sees the presence of the super soul in every living entity. So he sees not only the soul, Atma, that is present in the Brahmana, cow, elephant, dog eater, and he also sees the accompanying super soul in every living entity. On self, on seeing others. So the implications on the self, because we see ourselves, what is our position, who we are, what is our real identity. So that the first part, in seeing others, others also we see as similar spiritual persons. So therefore, by understanding that I am Atma, so is everyone. Therefore, we develop the tolerant quality of tolerance. If somebody performs something wrong, so we will be able to tolerate. And then, because we are all the children of the Supreme Lord, uh, all Atma, somehow we are got into this material world and presently suffering. So on this platform, we develop a genuine kindness towards others within and without. And we give up the unrealistic expectations from himself and others. So what is to be expected from our own self and from others also is the result of the proper equal vision, proper understanding of the material world. So then we will be able to develop the real brotherhood. So we will see, because we will not be hurting anyone other than anyone, even the animal, birds, every real brotherhood. Because in the those who are in the animal, bird, they are also our brothers. Because Mamai Vamse Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, Krishna says every Jiva is my part and parcel. So they are occupying different bodies due to their own karma and things like that. So these perspectives, everyone as a temple of the Lord, because in every Jivatma, the Paramatma, in every body, along with the Jivatma, Paramatma is also present. So therefore, we will be able to perceive every person as a temple of the Lord. So these are all the wider vision or proper vision we get by developing this kind of spiritual consciousness. So then in the last two slokas, that is 27 and 28, Krishna discusses a prelude, simple ideas he is giving about Ashtanga Yoga, because in the 6th chapter, Krishna is going to elaborately discuss about Ashtanga Yoga. Therefore, in the 27 and 28 sloka, he briefly talks, shutting out all external sense objects, keeping the eyes visions concentrated between the eyebrows, suspending the inward and outward breaths within the nostrils, and thus controlling the mind, senses, intelligence. The transcendentalist aiming at liberation becomes free from desire, fear, and anger. One who is always in this state is certainly liberated. So this is just two shlokas. Krishna has just give a preview of Ashtanga Yoga. And in the end, Krishna has concluded the saying, Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam Jnatva Mam Shantim Rishati. Here, we all want peace. We want eternal peace. And Krishna here, he gives the secret how a person can attain lasting eternal peace. So a person in full consciousness of me. So me in this case, Krishna. So a person who is fully conscious of Krishna, knowing Krishna to be the ultimate beneficiary. So Bhoktaram, Yagya Tapasam. So in the material world, different people perform different yagya, different tapas. All the results are fruits of this yagya and tapas. Who is the enjoyer? The ultimate enjoyer is Krishna, Bhoktaram. Bhokta means enjoyer. And who is the supreme controller of all the planets? Sarvaloka Mageshwaram. So Krishna is the only supreme controller. He controls every world, not just our universe. He controls both material and spiritual world. Therefore, he is the Sarvaloka Mageshwara. And Suhridam Sarva Bhutranam. So Krishna is the well-wisher of everyone. So into every species. So whatever some Atma may be in the tree, plant form, some Atma may be in fish, in water, and worm in the stool, and in maybe human body or Deva body. So Krishna is the well-wisher and friend of everyone. So we cannot be the well-wisher of everybody. So Krishna only can be the supreme enjoyer, supreme controller, and well-wisher of everyone, because we are all part and parcel of him. So therefore, he is the Krishna is supreme enjoyer, supreme controller, and well-wisher. If anyone knows this truth and accepts this truth, Jnatva Mam, Shantim Richati, he attains transcendental peace. So therefore, this is the peace formula to attain peace. So therefore, all this knowledge we gain from the scriptures, and specifically Bhagavad-gītā. If we know God, and we will know peace. If we do not know God, then we cannot have peace. Understand God the way He wants us to understand. People try to have their own concocted idea about God. So we should understand God the way Krishna presents himself. In Bhagavad-gītā, Krishna speaks about himself, about the truth about his nature, his form, everything. So we have to accept or try to understand God the way he wants, the way God wants us to understand him. So here he says Bhoktaram. So some people think how God can enjoy all this. So this, but Krishna says you just accept. So if God doesn't have the enjoying tendency, where from we got this tendency to enjoy or inclination to enjoy? Krishna has, he is the supreme enjoyer. We are also actually we are to be enjoyed, not the enjoyer. So when we dovetail with him, when aligned with him, we can also participate in all his enjoyments. And he is the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. We also have the tendency to control things, control family members, control in the office, like that. So this quality of being a controller, that actually it originates from the Supreme Lord Krishna. So we have small this controlling mentality. So, but that we should give up. So we are to be controlled. So we are controlled, not the controller. And then Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. Krishna can maintain unlimited jivatmas. Nityo Nityanam Chetano Chetananam Eko Bhagunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. That one Krishna is the all conscious being. He is supremely conscious. Cheto Chetananam. Eko Bhagunam. That one supreme controller, Krishna, he provides everything for everyone. Nityo Nityanam. He is the supremely eternal and supremely conscious, that one supreme authority Eko bahunam yo vidatati kaman. So he is able to maintain everyone. So we do not have that much capacity or capability to maintain everyone in the material world, and therefore we cannot be the Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. If we accept this fact, then we can have peace. So therefore, offer everything to the Supreme Lord in the service of the Lord. So the life lesson is, I think I am the enjoyer, but that would bind me to the cycle of action and reaction. So if we think we are the enjoyer, then that consciousness is what put us in the repeated birth and death. Similarly, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, no one is greater than God. So only greater God is the greatest. Even the demigods are not the greater. So Krishna is the supreme and supreme proprietor of all planets and demigods. So when we understand this, then we can have peace. So we are the temporary owners. For some years we here, then we are gone. Before we come, before we came, the world, everything was there. After we leave, also everything will be there intact. So the Krishna is the supreme benefactor and well-wisher. If everyone is Krishna's friend, then how can someone be my enemy? So we have to be friendly with every Jivatma. In fact, Krishna tells in later in Bhagavad-gītā, 11th chapter, concluding sloka. So we should not envy or hate anyone. So therefore, this is the essence of the fifth chapter. So in fifth chapter, I think today I have taken little more time because the subject matter is little complex. Anyway, we have come to the concluding slide. So first we have seen we have to perform Nishkama Karma Yoga, and we also in this context we have seen the four pillars of Dharma and who are the three doers, and then equal vision, Pandita Samadarshana. And Krishna also is given a brief introduction to the Ashtanga Yoga, and then Krishna has given the peace formula in the form of Bhoktaram, Yakya Tapasam, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram, Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam, Nyatva Mam Santim Richati, this one. So with this, I will conclude, we will conclude our session today. Tomorrow we will see the sixth chapter. Um, uh, Sixth chapter, as here Krishna has given a brief introduction to Ashtanga Yoga, and in the sixth chapter Krishna will be elaborating on the Ashtanga Yoga. So we will see Ashtanga Yoga tomorrow. So for today we have discussed about the Karma Yoga, action in Krishna consciousness in the fifth chapter. And whatever we have discussed, if we have any queries, one or two doubts, we can discuss.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you very much. Prabhuji, there are few questions, two questions in the chat.
Yeah.
I will just read it out. There is one question from Puneet Gopinathan, Prabhuji. He's saying, Prabhu, always dirty water will be there in the lotus pond. That is his question.
Okay. The analogy is whether the water is dirty or pure. And the lotus leaf will not get wet. That is the point. Therefore, in the material world, sometimes we will be in the association of good people. Sometimes we will be association of bad people. But still, that is depending on our previous karma. But the water, lotus leaf analogy is to show that we should not be attached to the fruits of our action. So that only that much, because sometimes analogy cannot be 100% matching. So this is only to show that it doesn't get wet, though the lotus leaf is always in the material, in the water, it doesn't get wet.
And Prabhuji, there is one more question.
Yeah.
What is today's life lesson?
Today's life lesson is take up Krishna consciousness seriously, get into the devotional sadhana bhakti. start chanting Hare Krishna, follow the regulatory principles, and try to get out of this material world. That is the lesson. Or why we does it? He has got any specific point? Then
Only that was the question, Prabhuji. There is
okay,
one more question from Mataji.
yeah.
Uh,
Yes, Mataji.
I'm just unmuting Mataji.
Uh,
Mataji, you can unmute and ask question.
Yeah, good morning. I wanted to ask, this is a question from yesterday actually, not today. Today's discourse is very clear. You spoke about Sat Chit Ananda.
yeah.
I wanted to just give me a quick description again. I was trying to recollect and I was not able to, I didn't have clarity in my head about it. So,
Okay. Actually, Sat is eternality. Because the Supreme Lord and even Jivatma, our spiritual nature is Satchidananda. Krishna is Satchidananda. We are also Satchit Ananda. Um, Sat means eternal. So the Atma, it has no beginning, no end. And Krishna is also Anadiradir. The Atma is also Anadiradir. Because now at present we are in encaged in a material body, and that the material body has got a beginning and end. So we think I am born or I die, like that. So the Atma doesn't die. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin. So it doesn't die, it doesn't end. And therefore the realizing the Sat means realizing the eternal nature of the self, eternal nature of the Supreme Lord. Chit means jnana, so knowledge. So that knowledge about the self, about Krishna, that is the jnana part. Chat, chit. The chit also means awareness. That is awareness of the self, awareness of the God, that relationship. All these are chit. Jnana means when we develop the understanding of the Supreme Lord, we develop our relationship with God, with Krishna. So that relationship may be in the form of with as a servant or as a friend or father, mother or as a lover. So one of these platform, a person develops relationship. When we relate with Krishna in that platform, when we reciprocate with him, and then we develop the bliss, happiness, that is enjoyment. So all these three aspects together are called Chat Chit Ananda. So the Ananda, what is described in this is Krishna is always in bliss. He is the source of all happiness. That is why Krishna is called as Rasaraj. So all rasa and this happiness is the personification of all rasas. So by connecting with him, by keeping ourselves related to him, we can also um, participate in those bliss, happiness, and rasa.
thank you.
Thank you, madam. Hare Krishna.
Right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. We are having one more question in the chat.
Yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, is there any difference between akarma and nishkama karma?
Nishkama karma and akarma nearly same, but there is little difference. In akarma, it is purely devotional service, karma performed for the pleasure of Krishna. Here in the Nishkama karma, he performs without expecting or without the desire to enjoy the fruits. He performs his duty, but he doesn't want to enjoy the fruits. So, but they are very close. So, from this platform, he can also reach the platform of doing. I perform only for the pleasure of Krishna. And then that actually Nishkama karma is the platform for reaching devotional service.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
And there are two more participants who have raised their hands.
Yeah.
Shall we take their questions, Prabhuji?
Okay.
Abhinash Pradhan Prabhu, you can unmute and ask your question.
Okay, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you told
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhuji. You are able to hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear.
Okay. Okay. Prabhuji, you told about the controlling senses. We have the four
Regulatory principles.
ABCD. So in D, we have the diet, right? So
Yeah.
when we are offering something to Krishna, it should be sattvic. It means that it should not be having any onion or garlic.
Yeah,
So how?
actually, I have not mentioned those things because some new people are also there. They should not immediately think, oh, this is I cannot practice. So, for the newcomers, somebody who wants to start chanting, we do not put all these rules and regulations. We encourage them to chant Hare Krishna, hear Bhagavad-gītā, practice. Then, by this process, they will gain strength, and then when they see other devotees taking prasadam without onion garlic, and then they will be able to take it up. We should not take coffee tea. So some people are already habituated to taking coffee tea, and if you say suddenly don't take, then they will not be serious interested in joining this. So but we therefore in the beginning we do not tell all this. Let them, even if they're thinking tree, if they're chanting, fine. And after some time, then they will on their own, they will be able to give up all this. That is the thing. So that's why I did not mention about offering without onion, garlic, etc. But those who are serious and those who are already knowing about these things, they will be they will perform the offering in a proper way. They will cook for the pleasure of Krishna, and cook without onion, garlic, and we offer with tulsi leaves. So all these, those who are practicing, they can follow. So others, those who are just entering, we need not put all the rules at the beginning. They must be encouraged to enter. Encourage them to chant Hare Krishna, and be with the devotees. By this enthusiasm, they will gain strength, and then they will be able to follow everything.
Okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, does that answer your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. I
Okay, Prabhu.
Ritvik Prabhu, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can
Hare
you
Krishna
hear me?
Prabhu. Yeah.
Prabhuji, I had three questions. So my first question is that can you please explain that what is my real identity? I did not get it properly.
Our real identity, actually, it was very elaborately explained in the second chapter when we discussed 2 days back. Our real identity is we are not this body, we are Atma. Atma is spiritual, and presently we are put inside a material body. So that is our real identity. We are Atma, and part and parcel of Krishna.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And my second question is that is Lord Krishna same as Lord Shiva? Because if you look at that, because Lord Shiva's skin color is also blue, and Lord Krishna's skin color is also blue. So I was wondering if Lord Shiva and Lord Krishna were both the same.
Uh, Actually, the Supreme Lord is only one. Uh, Krishna is that Supreme Person. He uh, expands. He expands in various forms. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are very elaborate discussion or description about how the Lord expands. His first expansion is it is called Chaturvyuha. Hmm? Uh, that is Pradyumna, Niruddha, Sankarshana, Vasudeva. These four are the first expansion. Like that, from the Sankarshana, there are further expansion, uh, second expansion like that. And for the from Vishnu comes Lord Shiva. So actually in the material world, there are three activities. One is creation, maintenance, and at the end of the uh, Yuga period, the universe must be destroyed. So all the Jivatma, those who have gone to the spiritual world, they are liberated and gone. Those who are still here, they will be taken into the mouth of stomach of Mahavishnu. Therefore, for maintaining this material world or running this material world, there are three deities. So, for the purpose of the creating the universe is created by Mahavishnu, but for further creation, secondary creation, for creating all the 84 million species, etc., that is done by Brahma. So, Lord Krishna comes as Brahma and perform the creation. And Krishna comes as Vishnu and he takes care of maintenance. And then same Vishnu comes as Lord Shiva, uh, and he at the end of the period he annihilates the universe. So in the Brahma Samhita, the position of Lord Shiva is explained. Shiram yada dahi vikara visesha yoga sanjayati. So that is Shiram. Shiram is milk. So when the milk is mixed with a little sour juice like lemon, or even sometimes we'll put some curd, and then the milk turns into curd. uh, so by milk represents Vishnu. This sour juice, maybe lemon juice, if you put few drops of lemon juice, then after few hours it will become turned into curd. So this action, the destroying the universe, annihilating the universe, it cannot be done in Sattva Guna or Rajo Guna, because any destruction is done in the when we are in the mode of uh, ignorance, Tamo Guna. So the juice, lemon juice, is like Tamo Guna. So Vishnu, for the purpose of annihilation, he accepts, voluntarily accepts this Tamoguna, and he transforms into Lord Shiva. So therefore, Lord Shiva is non-different from Vishnu in one sense, and different also in another sense.
Oh, okay, Prabhuji. And my last question is related to the diet. I guess someone asked. So my question is that, see, I am a non-vegetarian, and like most of the days I cook non-veg. So then the slide that you shared over there, it was written that you should share the food to, you should offer the food to Lord Krishna what you are making. So now I have learned that we should not share non-veg, we should not offer non-veg to the lords.
Yeah,
So now can you tell me what is the solution to that? What should I offer to the Lord so that the Lord becomes happy?
you can offer fruits, vegetables, and that if you offer, then Lord will be pleased, and your effort will be appreciated, and gradually you will develop a distaste for non-veg also.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Prabhuji.
thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. I have small announcement. I have
Yeah,
shared one link in the group. So I request all the participants to kindly fill that. We are creating a WhatsApp group so that we can share the meeting information and the upcoming programs and the past recordings of the session. Also, if any future we have any temple programs or any yatras planned by temple, It will be shared there. So you can kindly register using that link, using the same email ID which you have used before. Yeah, that will be very helpful for us and you also. Thank you. And Prabhuji, it seems there are no more questions from the participants.
Okay, Prabhu. Then we will close the session. We will meet tomorrow morning. Hare
Yeah,
Krishna. Thanks. I thank all the participants who joined today's class, and I thank Raja Prabhu for nicely hosting the program. Thank everyone.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.